Hey there, everybody. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to day 27 of Perfect Album Side. And today, all the way up from Canada, in the co-captain's chair, Mr. Rick Labonte, who always has that wonderful SOT background behind him.
Yes.
What's going on, Rick?
Uh, doing great, doing great. We had a great long 4-day weekend. I believe your long weekend coming up, isn't it?
It's coming
For
up.
you
Yeah,
guys?
we get three,
Yeah.
but I'm taking Friday off, and I might even take Tuesday off. We'll see how it goes, and make it like a little stretch it out a little bit. So we'll see.
Oh, cool.
So
Today, last week was more of a blues weekend. I played at the casino with the blues side, and then yesterday we did raised some a lot of money for the Children Aid Society yesterday. So I'm pretty happy. We had a great time, but I'm still able to squeeze in family time. That's what's great about a 4-day weekend. So yeah, so we're here to do Perfect Album Side.
We are. So for those of you watching, so these perfect album sides, it's this is a recorded work that has been at some point in time released on vinyl or cassette. So there's actually a side delineation, and we're basically saying that this side we've picked, whether it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 songs on that side, every song is a 5 out of 5 star classic to us. And we will never skip any of those songs, and we really love those songs a lot. So with all that being said, Rick is going to kick us off with his perfect album side for today.
Well, just before I start, I gotta say, everybody that you had, including yourself, I agree with everybody's side pick. I think they picked a great album. It was powerful song from, and just like you said, it is the perfect side. And for me, there was a lot of on your list that I would have picked. So I thought that was great. So hats off to all those who before me. So I went and with knowing the list, I didn't want to repeat another band, even though we know some of the picks that you guys have. Some of the band, there's about 3 or 4 bands that have more than one perfect side, and so this one is one of my earliest memories. I was 12 years old, and I heard the first song of the first song and the first side, and I liked it. I had no idea what the other song was gonna be. It ended up being a smash hit, and it's back in 1982, and it's Aja Aja, and I'm going with side A for Aja. And I remember saying, wow, they get perfect. And unfortunately, they never ever made another album like this. This is their highest peak, and everything. I'm not going to be, degrading, but it's down here compared to this. I mean, what a high bar to set, and never met the match again. But the first side has Heat of the Moment, which was a smash hit, and when video was starting to be a big thing, they had a pretty decent video for that. And I remember being glued to the TV to watch the band play and want to know what they look like. And again, I don't know what I know later on, that this was a super group made up of great people that I would later discover who I love their bands, whether it was King Crimson, Yes, or Emerson, Lake and Palmer. This was a super group with Jeffrey Downs and Steve Howe and Carl Palmer and of course John Welton. So Heated Moment was the song that pulled me through, and I remember getting the album, and I would also get the cassette because you can't take the record everywhere. You could only bring it to your friend's house or your home. So I went and bought the same year the cassette and the record, and side A was this: Heated Moment, Only Time Will Tell, Soul Survivor, One Step Closer, and Time Again, which was a pretty good epic for only being 4 minutes long. So these are all under 5 minutes, potent with a little bit of that proggy stuff that we love, but accessible, catchy, poppy. And I remember going roller skating at a place called Wheels, and they will play practically the side A all the time throughout the day. They would, if a DJ wanted to go have a cigarette, he just throw that one side. No one's gonna complain. It's the perfect side. So anyway, what a great album. Not to mention Roger Dean, one of his finest work. I love this album cover because me and my monster just like you. So yeah, to me that was good. Side 2 is great too. It's just that the hits, the one, the couple that they get played, and it's always a must. Every time you see an Asia concert, they will play practically almost every song from that side. At least 4 out of the 5 is in the set list because of the popular demand.
Yep. And you bring up a really cool point when you talk about the fact that they are a super group, and you have to wonder in your case, right? So when you first started listening to that album, you maybe because you were young and maybe you hadn't listened to Yes, King Crimson, so on and so
Not
forth,
yet.
Palmer, right? So to you, they're just another new band, right? So how you have to
Yes.
wonder how many millions of people, because that sold millions of copies, right? And how many millions of people got turned on to that first Asia album and bought it and maybe went to see them live, who had no history at all with Yes and with ELP, with the Buggles, with King Crimson, with any of the bands that they used to be in, and so they're just like, oh, okay, bunch of because at the time, so they were all probably in their like 30s, I would think,
Mhm.
mid late 30s, right? So
Mhm.
you have to wonder. Yeah, sure, there were a lot of prog fans, I'm sure, who were like, oh, this is going to be great, and maybe some of the prog fans were like, yeah, this is not quite what they this is pretty cool. It's really catchy and poppy, but it's not quite what they all did before then. But how many people who were not prog fans totally got on board with that and bought that and enjoyed it
Very true.
with
And I
no.
think also, yeah, well, we got to say also the thinking to what you were saying, because they didn't produce more Asia albums after that. Later in the career, just before John passed, when Asia would perform, because I got about 3 or 4 live DVDs of them, and the final DVD, they will go to the back of the past and bring up all the songs from the other band's history. They will play a couple of Yes tunes, King Crimson, and that because they only had the one hit album, so it was better to bring some of the greatest hits from the previous work, like the ones you just mentioned. And so it's an interest in how this set list actually changed, because by the time people were falling near the end of that, John, before he passed, they were all fans of the whole, they were a super group and they were fans of the whole career. And to make a real potent set list, they had to throw in King Crimson, 21 First District, man, what else they played? Roundabout and a couple other tunes because of Steve Howe's history. And then it was more like you felt like you were listening to another Asia album, because it was like all these great hits, the whole show, including the best of Asia. So yeah, good point. And I didn't know they had this rich history, but I remember getting the second album after that. See, this was really big for me because like when I got the first Boston album, which is a perfect side way or side B, um, it felt like that to me. It's like, wow, I think it's a perfect record, and then but the second album, the Boston album, was still pretty powerful. Not as strong as the first, but still pretty good. I didn't feel the same way with Asia's second album and the third album. I thought they really lost. They kind of went lightweight in a way, to the point where it wasn't even as catchy and accessible as.
Yeah, I've always said, because I've had so many people, ask me, it's like, how come you don't do more like Asia specific shows? And I'm like, well, because for me, that first album is so great, and they never even came close to that on any of the albums. The second album, excuse me, the second album has its moments.
Yes, it does.
And there's a song or two on the third album I like. Same with the fourth
Hmm.
album. But then you had most of the guys left. You had the John Payne era, which is not bad for what it is. Not really Asia, in my opinion. And then the original lineup regrouped for those couple albums, towards the end. And I quite frankly don't think any of those are any good. So yeah, it's like they basically gave you everything on that first album. You talk about the Boston album. Don't Look Back is a really good album.
Yes.
Unfortunately, when you stack it up next to that debut, nothing is going to match that. But Don't Look Back is really good. The first couple Boston albums are really good. But yeah, Asia, just I don't know. It's like I listened to the second album. Was it Alpha Astra? I forget which one is
Alpha.
which. Yeah, I listened to that not too long ago, and I'm like, yeah, God, this is kind of boring and really lightweight. It's like it's not even. Again, there's a couple good tunes, but yeah, nothing matches that debut. Nothing matches the
Yeah,
debut.
it's almost like it was whatever left that wasn't strong enough to get on this record, because it had the same sonic palette. I mean,
Yeah,
it sounded like the same studio, had it very similar, but just the songs weren't there.
it's too many
But
ballads.
anyway, I'm not here to shit on AJ or anything like that. I just saying they had a real super first album, and it was so good that nothing else they done hold hold it to that.
Yeah, true, good. Good choice. All right. Well, it seems like I picked a lot of debut albums during this whole series, so I'm not going to do it today. I'm not going to do it
Well,
today.
I did.
I know you did. So one of us did. Yeah, there you go. So my pick is from 1983, and this was released on A&M Records, and this was the one, two, three, fifth album from this band from California, and it is we're talking about side A of this album, and it's Mean Streak by YNT. And
Nice.
yeah, I mean, side two or side B is really good too, but the side I picked is side A or side one. It starts off with the title track, Mean Streak. And again, this is the lineup of Dave Menichetti on lead guitars, lead vocals, Joey Alvis on rhythm guitar, backing vocals, Phil Kennemore on bass, backing vocals, and Leonard Hayes on drums and percussion. Really, really great band, really underrated band in my opinion. And of course, that great. Talk about great album covers. We got the like the mechanical serpent snake on this one, and you've got the actual serpent on the by Roger Dean on yours. So it starts off with the amazing title track, which is this great hard rock anthem, great hooks, great guitar work from Dave, and then you got an equal banger, Straight Through the Heart, which is track number 2, which is just a guitar tour de force. It's got great groove. It's just heavy, just fist pumping stuff. And then you got 2 other more melancholy songs that follow, but really, really great as well. Lonely Side of Town, which is a good kind of moody. I don't even know if it's not quite ballad territory, but it's just a moody mid-paced rocker with a great chorus, great vocal from Dave, who's one of the unsung singers from this time period in hard rock, I think. And then the kind of, I hate to call it an epic because it's not quite 6 minutes long, but it kind of feels like the epic of the album, and that's Midnight in Tokyo, which again, just a gutsy vocal from Dave Menichetti. Great guitar work, but it's kind of moody, emotional, somewhat bluesy, and a truly memorable chorus. And, side 2, really good too, because you got Breaking Away, Hang 'em High, which is terrific, Take You to the Limit, which is a really good song, Sentimental Fool, and Down and Dirty completely cranks. But like we say, it's like you have to pick the side where each song is 5 out of 5 star. There's like 1 or 2 tracks on side 2 that maybe I give a 4, and 4 is still great, but it's not quite perfect. So Mean Streak, Straight Through the Heart, Lonely Side of Town, and Midnight in Tokyo. Really, really great song to close out side 1. So that is my choice. Side 1 or side A from Mean Streak from YNT. There are the guys right there. A little bit of glare. So there you have it, everybody. You've got Asia self-titled side 1 or side A, and YNT Mean Streak also side 1. We got two first sides on this choice today on this episode. So I want to thank Rick for joining us today and sharing in this kind of love for perfect album sides. This has been a lot of fun to do this month, and we've only got a couple days left, so then we're going to take a break for a month. We're going to move into my top 30 Southern rock albums of all time. So every day I'm going to do a countdown from number 30 all the way to number 1. And for this exercise, because a lot of times when I do these shows, I personally don't like to repeat bands. You're going to get some repeat bands on this one. So you might see Skynyrd a couple times. You might see Blackfoot a couple times. You might see the Outlaws a couple times, right? It's going to happen, but hopefully you'll see a lot of other different bands that have been playing Southern rock for their careers. So stay tuned for that, starting in just a couple days on June 1st. And this is on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube, all together. All the damn time. For Rick Labonte, I am Pete Pardo. Thanks for watching this episode of Perfect Album Sides. Tune in tomorrow morning for another one. Till then, have a good one, everybody. For Rick, I am Pete. Bye-bye.
Take care.